What if the conversations we've been told to avoid are the ones we need the most? What if we have become so afraid of offending people that we've stopped asking better questions?
Because growth doesn't come from staying comfortable. It comes from questioning assumptions, challenging ideas, and being willing to hear perspectives that aren't your own.
Some conversations will make you uncomfortable. Some will challenge what you believe. Some might even change your mind.
Listen, we're not here to tell you what to think. We're here to ask better questions, to explore different perspectives, and to have the conversations most people avoid.
No scripts, no echo chambers, no sugarcoating. Just honest conversations about leadership, relationships, business, health, money, culture, and what it really means to live well in a complicated world.
And hey, you don't have to agree with everything you hear, but if every episode leaves you thinking long after it's over, we've done our job.
You're listening to Let's Not Sugarcoat It. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Not Sugarcoat It. Today's guest has spent more than 25 years in the culinary world, but Lani's Kitchens didn't begin with a polished business plan. It began with a problem so many women and families understand. 2 working parents, busy children, constant travel, and the pressure of trying to put healthy food on the table. Lani took the pressure and turned it into a business building around local sourced ingredients, meals made without seed oils, and food that arrives ready to heat and eat. And I can personally say I've tried her food and it's delicious. But today we're going beyond what's on the menu. We're talking about what actually is in our food, the invisible mental load of feeding a family, and what it really takes to turn your passion into a business. Welcome to the studio, Lani Stroder.
Thank you, Bella. So happy to be here.
Yes, I just love what you're all about and your food. And I can, like I said, personally attest to how amazing and fresh everything was, and how this was actually my first time that I ordered a ready-made meal, because I was always that granola labeled granola mom, always made my own baby food and always scratched meals and all this stuff. But as our workload got more, kids going to dance and horseback riding and travel, I just became overwhelmed with the cooking. So tell me a little bit more about your big why.
Absolutely. Like something you said really resonated with me there. So my kids are a little bit older. They both actually work for me full time now. I have a 15-year-old and almost 18-year-old, and I made their baby food as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, 17, 18 years ago, I was labeled as that kind of granola mom as well. But it meant a lot to me to make their food from scratch. And it's just not feasible for people now. I find families are too busy. Sports, extracurriculars, school, all of these things take up so much time. And you mentioned the mental load. And a lot of people don't talk about the mental load that especially moms carry. Planning everything, knowing in their head when every dentist appointment is, when every doctor's appointment is, what the school schedule is, what needs to happen next as far as planning for the weekend away. There is just so many open tabs you have open in your brain on any given day, that this was something that I am really good at and really wanted to be able to help other families be able to eat well and not have that strain and stress. I've tried, when we first moved to Kelowna, I tried some of the nationwide kind of meal prep services, and they send you things and it's all chopped up and ready to go. But what I found was I was still spending 45 minutes or an hour prepping a meal. And sometimes you just don't have that, or you just don't have the bandwidth. So what I provide is scratch-made meals, homemade meals, no seed oils, healthy, wholesome, kid-friendly meals that you can literally heat and serve, or they're ready to eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we tried your bowls, and they were actually a lifesaver for when the heat wave here in Kelowna hit, and everybody needed to be either by the pool or at the lake. You're still running around trying to do business. I'm lucky that I can do business anywhere, but having that bowl ready and be like, yeah, I'm just going to put that in the cooler and off to the beach. All I grabbed was a couple forks, some waters, and it was
ready to
truly
go.
a lifesaver.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find that that's the kind of missing link in the food prep industry. So there's a lot of companies that will do fitness meals and they focus on the macros, and we offer that side of the business. And we actually do have a lot of private clients. I am very specific to their macros. I weigh out all their food. We accommodate their meals. We're very custom that way. But my niche and my passion is families, and being able to provide food for families that are constantly on the go and they don't have 2 hours to prep a meal. And, I've tried everything as my kids were growing up. I had them in the kitchen, us all meal prepping together. I've tried chore charts. I've done all the things that moms do to survive, right? And this has been such a different ballgame, being able to, now that my kids are older, hire them full time and have them working in an environment where they're learning how to cook, they're learning these life skills, but the importance of food. And I think one thing people don't talk about enough too is the impact that food has on your health. And that's really important to me. Autoimmune diseases and behavioral issues, a lot of it can stem from what you're putting into your body. And that's a really, really huge passion of mine, is to be able to give people an easy way to curb some of those triggers.
Yeah. Gut health is so important. I have twin girls who are 13 and a half, going on 22. And eczema, psoriasis, breakouts is all part of the gut health. We thought it was topical, especially actually living in Kelowna. I'm not sure if you noticed or not. Were you born here, or did you?
No, I was actually born and raised in Southern California.
Okay.
And then lived in Ontario for 20 years.
Yeah.
That's where I met my husband, and that's where our children were raised, and just moved to Kelowna back in December of 2020.
Yeah. So we're also transplants. Lots of colonials are. And we noticed a huge change in our skin when we moved here. So I wasn't sure if it's because we were eating a lot more fruit and vegetables, but the pesticides and herbicides,
right,
they're spraying. And I know not everything is organic around these parts. So gut health is so important.
It is.
Because I'm currently battling a really hardcore eczema breakout on my face. I'm itchy and scratchy. And that's because it's fruit season. Yep. Right? So if I don't soak the veggies, if I don't soak the fruit, I start breaking out. And you notice these things.
Yeah.
Right? And kids are in this state of development, especially girls, hormone disruptors, the milk, the meat, and the stuff that we put into our bodies.
That's the biggest thing. Like there are, several triggers that are inflammatory for your body. Dairy is one, gluten is one for many people. Not for everybody, but for some people it is. Seed oil is obviously soy. And so what I strive for is to try and create a menu that caters to everyone. So I always have a number of gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan options. And then I have stuff for your meat and potatoes crowd.
Yeah.
Right? The comfort foods that people love. And I try and alter some of them to be able to allow for any of those allergies. It's interesting. Everyone is so different. I don't have an aversion to gluten whatsoever, but I do find dairy to be a trigger for me. And it can be very inflammatory. And I notice a difference in my skin, but I love cheese.
Yeah. See, that's where we differ. I can take cheese off the menu any day. Do those quizzes, and it's like, if you had to live without one food.
Oh, I never could live without cheese.
Cheese is one of those things. Dark chocolate, 100% Lindt with orange. I could not live.
That's so funny. So I owned a custom cake business for 16 years, and everybody asked me, like, why don't you weigh 300 pounds? I was like, because I don't have a sweet tooth. Mm-hmm. I don't like cake.
Yeah.
I love to make it.
Yeah.
I love to design it. I love the decorating part, but I don't eat it.
Yeah.
So
can you have my children turn into those non-sugar eating fiends?
When I was younger, I definitely liked my share of sugar. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. But sugar is not something. But sugar is a highly inflammatory component as well, right? It actually, they've proven it that it feeds cancer cells. Yeah. So it's just one of those things I like to give families the option to be able to order things. I had a customer email me just yesterday. Longtime customer, wonderful human being, orders every single week, but now has been told that he may have to go lactose free.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? I'll walk you through this. I'll give you all of the things that you need, any recipes you need, not just provide the meals to be able to order, but if he needs help navigating it further, I can shoot him some recipes. I can help him out in that regard. And I can also tailor what he's already been ordering to fit his new diet. And I think that's what a lot of people are finding. You know, they have symptoms, they go to the doctor, and what is it? What is it? And it's good to find the cause, right? We need to find the cause, not just a Band-Aid on these things. And I find, especially with things like eczema and any kind of rashes, but again, I'm going to say even behavioral.
Yeah.
I've been through it. I had an autoimmune disease many, many years ago that I had to treat with diet and lifestyle. And there is no cure for it. I will have it the rest of my life, but I've learned my triggers and I've understood now that other people are dealing with this too. And they need help.
Yeah.
Right? There's no easy solution. So if I can give people an easier solution, nothing's going down in price. Groceries are going up.
Yeah.
Gas is going up. Everything's going up. But if you look at the website and order the food, but the time you're spending money on going to the market and going to various fruit stands and going to the grocery store and then prepping the food and packaging it and all of these things, if I can save people the stress, the time, the mental load.
Yeah. There was a big battle in my house because my mom lives with us and she's Polish, but she's not a typical Polish babcia. She's not. She hates cooking.
Oh.
So I'm the cook in the family. My dad was the cook, but my mom, she loves to clean. So, we balance.
Perfect.
And I do not like to clean.
That's a good balance.
So it's a great balance. However, my husband and I have been traveling quite a bit and my kids have been left at home, with my mom.
Fending for themselves.
Yeah. I would leave for a week. We'd stuff the fridge full of amazing food, expensive food. And what would she go to? What would my mom? Chicken fingers? You want McDonald's to take you to McDonald's? I would come home and have
all the food still there.
Yes, and half of it is going bad because you have raspberries, strawberries. They only last a couple days.
Yeah.
So I'm wasting food and money. So now I started chopping and freezing. Actually, I started making them do that because I said I put the effort and energy into
I find when they actually put the effort into, when you have them involved, then they'll eat it.
Yeah.
The minute I started having the kids make their own lunches, they ate what they packed because they packed it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's my rule in the house in the mornings. I'm either making breakfast or I'm making your lunches. I'm not doing both. I'm not your servant. You shall appreciate it. Well, they're old enough, right? But it gives them that sense of responsibility and actually shows them how much time and effort it takes, how much us women take on to prep these things. So the battle with my mom was like, it's so expensive. I'm like, you know what, Mom, is expensive? Is a $500 grocery bill per week where 3/4 of it goes in the garbage.
Yeah.
So what's expensive?
Yeah.
Because now nothing is being eaten. Half of it is being donated to the
landfill.
And
if the alternative is, say, McDonald's, you go and get a value meal and it's $15 or $16. And you're eating garbage and you feel terrible after.
Yeah.
And there's no sustenance there. There's no nutrients there. And I've found I'm really proud of the fact that some of my meals, I've had many people tell me I used to make meals for my son's entire baseball team and the moms would always order meals. And they told me time and time again, this lasts me 2 meals.
Yeah. Yeah. We were able to split the bowl into 2 for the girls.
And that's something that's really important to me. I find with a lot of the fitness meals around anywhere you go, I mean, I would say nationwide, the portions are so small, you're still starving after you eat them.
Yeah.
And I get balancing your macros, but if you're starving after, you're going to fill that with something not good for you.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think it's really important to make sure you sustain yourself in a healthy way and balance, right? Just moderation, everything in moderation.
Please tell my children that. Literally last night, so talking about making them chop the veggies and then putting it in the freezer. Last night, after pregnancy, my nose is like a canine nose. I pick up smells that most people don't. So I was going into the garage because we have an extra fridge in there. And I'm like, there is a funk in here. And I don't know what it is. And sniffing around like the hound I am, I realized that the freezer was not closed properly because they came back from a birthday party with a tub of ice cream and they were trying to sneak the ice cream scoop by scoop and they didn't close it. And then we left to Vancouver and there was a bunch of veggies, bunch of meat. I was able to save because it was still cold, but the veggies, it's like
once
20
they're
minutes,
thawed,
that's it, unless they're in a soup or, something fried. So I made them clean up last night at 11, the blood, the everything, because they were going in and sneaking something terrible.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I want them to feel that pain of losing the hard work.
Still not coming out of their bank account.
That's right. Right. That's right. Well, we're thinking about actually maybe putting in a system because especially in our house, our kids are, pretty privileged in what they have. They don't actually know what they truly have. They think it's just money grows on trees. And if it's broken, mom's just going to replace it. If I don't have it, mom's just going to buy it. And I come from communist Poland. We had food stamps. I eat things most people wouldn't, chicken wings, I will do the grizzle. I eat pig knuckles. I will eat tripe
the
soup,
fat off the pork chop.
I definitely, you will eat all of that because we were rationed food.
Yeah.
So I understand what it is not to have and appreciate that one time, bread and sugar or bread and honey. We had this kogel mogel, which you take an egg yolk and put sugar in it, and then you beat it, and it's really creamy. It sounds gross now.
No, it actually doesn't. It's kind of like halfway to a meringue,
right?
Or a custard.
Those are the things I grew up on. While here, everything has sugar, everything has preservatives. The seed oils are a big thing. I don't do seed oils. It's only avocado, coconut. But it all depends too on who has what kind of sensitivity.
Absolutely.
And we don't use the microwave. At least I don't. And nobody uses the microwave when mom's home.
Not allowed.
Yeah, not allowed. So you said you work with your whole family.
Yep.
Tell us, how is it as a mom? Because I have your 3 beautiful children sitting in studio here for support. Maybe, you tell us your story of how it is working with your kids. And then one of them may come on and say how it is to work with the mom.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. No, I actually feel very, very fortunate to be able to employ my kids. They're old enough to hold jobs, and I'd rather them work for me than somebody else. I mean, I've worked for a lot of horrible people over the years, so it's nice that they have a safe place to be able to work, but they're also learning a life skill. I'm very flexible on their hours for the most part. So I think they're lucky in that way. Someday, they'll need to get out and go and work for somebody else and see how that works. But the fact that what they're doing is something they're going to use for the rest of their lives. This is like AI can't replace cooking.
No.
AI can't replace nourishing your body in this way. And being able to learn the different techniques and the different recipes and, having the input and being able to come up with different things and for me, I mean, I sometimes work 70 plus hours a week. So it's so nice. This is my quality time with them.
Yeah.
This is when I don't feel that guilt of the working away from home mom necessarily anymore like I used to, because they work with me every day. And, like it or not, they're stuck with me.
Yeah.
And sometimes for more hours than they would like.
But that's a good life skill too, because not every job is you clock in, 9 to 5.
Yep.
There are emergencies. There are certain things that you just have to get done.
Absolutely.
And
they see it.
Yeah.
That they see it in a view that my other employees don't, because they see the frenzy or they see the stress and they see when it's the hardest of the hard. They see all of it.
Yeah.
And so they know when there's an emergency. They know when it's like there's a deadline, but they also know when it's an easy week. And, we can go a little easier this week and take our time and just not
That's
be
the
so
life of
stressed
the
out.
entrepreneur, right?
Absolutely.
Because everybody online is like, be an entrepreneur and so on and so forth, because you can have a flexible schedule. Yeah, sometimes, but we're still working, and it's a 24/7.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the physical. You don't just clock in 9 to 5.
My
and
longest
clock
day
out.
in the kitchen. So I started this business. It'll be 3 years in November. My longest day in the kitchen so far has been 22 hours straight.
Yeah.
And there has been more 16 plus hour days than I can count.
Yeah.
And it just happens, Sometimes you start at 4 and you break at 1, have a nap.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the kitchen and you start again and you work until 4 a.m. And that's just what it takes to get it done. It's not like food isn't like accounting. It's not something you can do in advance, right? You have you have a very small window.
And that's the growing pains of owning your own business, right? Nobody's going to show up for those 22 hours unless it's you and your family. So that is a blessing. I worked with my family. My parents started a landscaping company when we moved to Canada. And man, I was mowing lawns and, shoveling driveways because it was like we also had maintenance contracts until I started at 13 and I stopped at 27. I already moved out. I already ran 2 other companies, but I was still working in my parents' business until the year before.
Because
my
you knew
wedding,
what needed to be done.
Yes, right? And then helped to transition me leaving. And there's many times, I'm going to tell you guys, there's many times I fought with my dad or with my mom. Well, mostly my dad because he was the boss. And I walked away, but I always came back. Right? Because it's family, you need to get it done. And
You're invested. And my first job was at 12 years old. My parents owned a sporting goods store. So same kind of idea. And then my dad worked for a company and we had to distribute samples and flyers all over the greater Los Angeles area. So we're talking about, we would start at midnight and finish at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
As a teenager. So those were my summers as a teenager. And I've never not had a job, but I've never found more fulfillment than working for myself.
Yeah. That's the thing is you have to have someone showing you the way.
Yeah.
And the grit.
Yeah.
The passion.
I come from a very entrepreneurial family and I definitely have that entrepreneurial spirit. At this point in my life, I can't imagine working for anybody else.
Yeah. I always tell my husband, I'm not employable. I've not worked for anybody.
I am not either.
I mean, I'm not counting my parents.
I have a problem with authority.
Yes. Don't tell me what to do. 100%. And that's the entrepreneur spirit, right? We surround ourselves with people who may know more and whatnot, but still I'm saying I'm going here and that's where I'm going.
Yeah. I'm happy with mentorship and guidance and that, but having a boss per se is just not in my lifelong plan at this point. I'm too old for that.
I thought, same. Unless you're running a company, right, and you're on top, maybe that piece is where you still have that freedom to do.
Yeah.
But when you are not,
I think that's the goal of every entrepreneur though as well, is like getting their business to a point where they're running it, but not in it. Like I spend so much time working in my business instead of on it. And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges of being an entrepreneur is you're so busy building that you're doing all the grunt work and not able to step back and do the things that will help actually grow it and scale it. Yeah. And honestly, that's definitely been the biggest challenge for me.
I was just going to loop into that right now because, most businesses, you said you're in business 3 years here in Kelowna, and most businesses fail within the first, year, 2 years. What makes you stand out from the competition and makes you thrive in this community?
Honestly, when I started this business, it blew up faster than I could have ever imagined. And the range of customers is what really blows me away. I have seniors who are finding it harder to just cook for just the 1 or 2 of them. I have people who have some serious health issues that just needed a leg up because they have other stresses in their lives and food wasn't something they could focus on. And then I have families, and I started it because of families. Like my son plays high level baseball. And one of the things that really hit me was we'd go to these, our nearest competition is over 3 hours away. So every weekend is a travel weekend, and I would meal prep every weekend, and another mom would do it with me, and we'd go, and all the other moms would be like, "Oh, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that?" And we said, "Well, we made it."
Yeah.
And I realized that this is something people need. And so the family aspect of it is really what sets us apart, and really why I started the business. It was for families, everybody running from point A to point B all the time, and I find like, even if you do like I don't want to name any companies, but even if you do one of the prep companies that send you stuff, you're still in the kitchen. And I don't know about other families, but sometimes you get in the kitchen and it's a frenzy, and then people start fighting, and it doesn't become a nice meal anymore. Yeah. Whereas if you can come home and there's something in your fridge, you can just pop in the oven for 20 minutes and it's ready to go and everybody's happy. That's a nice family night. And that's all that I want for people.
Do you think there is room for ready-made meals and then meals that you cook together as a family and sit around? Because I feel like we've lost a little bit of that family.
Absolutely.
Before, I know right now society is always like, go, 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 faster, more. At some point, I feel like we need to step back and go back to the roots, because that's where the connection
You're not
happens.
alone in that. I think there's a lot of people who feel the same way. I mean, I certainly feel that way. And there are times, and I mean, we work so much cooking for other people that we don't get together and cook together for us. But if I ask either one of my children, "Hey, can I have help making dinner tonight?" their answer is always going to be yes. And there's an idea that I've been toying with, actually, and one is like a summer package so people could barbecue together. So just like, I do a really killer marinated steak, like amazing marinated steak. And so if I could just, do some vacuum sealed steaks, some veggies, some potatoes, something like that, and offer some packages for families to cook themselves, and then maybe do a fall feature, same kind of idea, where it's already chopped, it's already ready to go, and they could just cook it together. But making it easy, very minimal packaging, everything either recyclable, compostable, all that's really important to me. So.
Yeah, and I do. So I agree with you. There is room for both, I think, because I did find it very convenient when I was on the go and just grabbing the bowls and just the forks. I'm like, thank God. I don't have to stop anywhere. It's just there.
Yeah.
And they're really good. And what I loved is my kids got to pick. I said, come on this website, pick which one you want. We're all going to try one.
I love that you did that.
So that everybody gets their favorite, and we're all going to share to see what it is that we like, what we don't like, what's our favorite, what's our go-to. And there were some that were more favorable than others, but for them, we all have different taste buds.
Absolutely.
And my kids are very kind of like me, because we lived in Taiwan. We have a Polish kitchen, we have an Italian kitchen, we have all these different worldly foods that they've been exposed to since they were kids. So they will eat the sushi, they will eat the raw fish, they will try different sauces. It's not just that chicken fingers and fries.
My kids are the same, and that's another really big reason that the part of my passion fueling this business is I have always been so disappointed in kids' menus at every single restaurant across the country. I can't stand them. The chicken fingers, you get a chicken finger, you get burgers, maybe pizza.
Nothing healthy.
If you only give kids these choices, that's what they're going to go for. Ironically, I remember when my kids were little, the only place that had a decent kids menu was Red Lobster, because you could order a baked fish with vegetables and rice.
Yeah.
And I think the keg actually had like a steak option for kids. Yeah. But everywhere else, it's the same thing. I think
it's a North America thing, because even when we lived in Taiwan, going to McDonald's, chicken nuggets were not deep fried. Chicken nuggets were baked, and then you got apple slices or carrots.
Right.
You didn't have the French fries. And when I said, let's get them some French fries. The looks I would get, because most of them didn't get.
They didn't do the French fries.
Didn't do the French fries, right? So yeah, I think it's culturally, we've been so conditioned here.
Yeah.
Cheapest ingredients, fastest possible.
It's convenience.
It is convenience. So should we look at what's working then and what's not?
So my goal is to provide that same type of convenience in a healthy way.
Yeah. So let's talk about why simple ingredients. Less is more, but it's more money. It costs more to eat healthy. Like, what is your take on that? Because when you do...
That's a tough one.
Right?
It really is. And for each individual family, yes, it is tougher. Now, that's kind of the reason, again, I do what I do, because I can now buy in bulk. I'm cooking for 30 families, not one, right? So when you're buying in bulk, the cost goes down significantly. So I can decrease that cost for families because, yes, I've always been the type of person to say, do not count calories, count ingredients. Mm-hmm. The amount of ingredients in your food is what's important. Broccoli is broccoli.
Yeah.
Right? If you're reading a soup container and it has 13 ingredients in it, don't buy that.
Like 30.
Don't buy that. I think I read somewhere years ago that McDonald's fries has 12 ingredients when it should just be potatoes.
Yes.
Right? Like, so I'm a big, big proponent of like cooking in bulk. Mm-hmm. And that's why I always did meal prep for the family for the past 20 years, actually, even before I had kids. So 25 years. And when you buy in bulk, you're always going to save money, but not everybody is able to do that. They may not have the fridge or freezer space. They might not have the time. And then you're throwing things away. And that's where I try to like alleviate some of that pressure and stress so that I'm buying in bulk. I can offer them a lower price, but they're still getting the wholesome ingredients. Like if you're looking at my broccoli salad, there's broccoli, tomatoes, red onion, celery, and a honey yogurt dressing. That is it. You know, You're not getting any preservatives. You're not getting any sugar. You're not getting any of the garbage.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're getting it at a lower cost.
Do you think the menus for like people are waking up and things are changing a little bit?
I do.
See on social media.
I do.
The 2-3 ingredient brownies and stuff like that.
That's an interesting question because I really think sometimes it comes down to your algorithm, right?
I guess the granola mom and me will have all those good things.
You and I are going to get different things in our feed, right?
Yeah.
Than other people might. You're going to get, and that's, I'd like to think people are making changes and waking up. And I mean, in my circle, in my friend circle, everybody, as far as I know, feels the same way. Mm-hmm. They want to be able to feed their kids healthy food. They want to be able to eat healthy food themselves. Like at my age, all of my friends are going through perimenopause or menopause, right? So food is a really big component of your feelings. And
speaking of the perimenopause, what is your take on the protein craze? I mean, protein in your coffee now, Starbucks, protein latte.
Okay. So the protein thing. So I don't know if you remember Bulletproof coffee.
No.
Okay. So I did protein coffee 10 years ago and I wasn't in perimenopause yet. I was in my 30s then. So, I mean, there's going to be craze after craze after craze. What it comes down to is that protein is a building block of our body. We need protein. Women of my age in their mid to late 40s do need more protein.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no doubt about it. I don't think you need to jump on every single craze or bandwagon that's happening, but get your protein. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's important. Any way you get it. And you can get it from, chicken, beef, turkey. You can get it from lentils, beans. There's so many like
cottage
cheese. You can literally get it from so many sources. And that's why my goal starting this business wasn't going into the fitness meals, but I've had so many clients come to me because I customize and I'll do the amount of protein that they specifically need. So there's a personal trainer in town that's referred a couple of clients to me, and just basically all they do is give me their macros and I just go by that, and I provide a variety of meals per week with their protein, their carbs, their fat, their veggies, and away they go. And I think a lot of people don't. For me, at this point in my life, it's really, really, really important you're getting that balance because you're going to feel symptoms if you're not treating your body right.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Is that how you choose your meals when because there's so many menus, there's so many recipes, there's so many different ingredients. How do you go about choosing the meals that you have on your website right now?
It's interesting. So after doing this for almost 3 years, I have a cache of probably 360 recipes that I rotate. And even having that many recipes, sometimes I get bored with them. And so then I just go on a search and I look and I'm like, what sounds good? What ingredients do I want to use? Do I want to use miso this week? Do I want to use cabbage? Do I want to use chicken? What do I want to use this week? And that's the fun part for me, actually. That's where my creative side comes in. I've always loved cooking. Even though I owned a baking business for 16 years, cooking is really where my passion is. And I like to be somebody who I'm not very rigid in my recipes. I really like to experiment and try new things and see. And I'll ask my customers, okay, was this a win?
Yeah.
Was it not? Tell me.
Yeah.
I would much rather my customers tell me, like, nope, didn't like this one, you know? And like you said, not everybody, as my daughter used to say, not everybody's taste bugs are the same.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. My kids used to say, I love these offals instead of waffles. So we all have those, how are your waffles? They're offals.
Offals. They're offals waffles.
Awful waffles. Yeah. No.
I have a really great recipe for protein waffles if you ever want them.
Yeah.
Lots of cottage cheese in them.
See, we're getting into this like weird phase because my husband just discovered that he is lactose. He has IBS and I was having stomach issues for weeks lately. And then we're just like, let's just cut out the dairy.
Yeah.
And the symptoms went away. So now we're shifting again. What is going to work for our family? What cheeses to use? I know there's lactose-free cheese and so on and so forth.
A lot are actually.
Yeah. But the kids still love cheese, but they love the cheap stuff. They love the marble cheese, right?
Yeah.
Which is not something that we grew up on. We get the good quality cheese that doesn't melt into pure oil when you put it on the frying pan.
And the hard cheeses are much better.
Yeah. So that's a good tip for anybody who wants to actually see what their cheese is made of. Take a little slice and put it onto the frying pan and see what it melts into.
Yeah.
There's some that literally melt into pure oil. There's nothing left.
And some are just rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is so gross. So that's why I was like, man, I can just do without the cheese.
Oh, no, I love good cheese.
Yeah. Good cheese. Yeah. In moderation. I'm more of a meat.
Yeah.
I love the meat. It's because I didn't have meat growing up. Cabbage. So you always want what you don't have.
Absolutely.
Right? So are you a follower of trends or are you a trend setter with your recipes?
I think that's a question for the audience here. What do you guys think? Do I follow trends or am I a trendsetter? I don't know what trends necessarily I would
follow. Right now it's like, that protein, the craze on that. And these are we were talking about macros and all that kind of stuff. We didn't talk about those 5 years, 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
Unless we were in the
I would have to say I'm definitely not a trend follower. I don't know if I'd call myself a trendsetter. I like good food, healthy food. I believe in balance. I believe you should enjoy your food. Food is fuel, but it should also be enjoyed. It should bring you pleasure.
Yeah.
It should be something where families can sit around a table and enjoy their meal together. I think that's so important. And I think that's that's the oldest trend there is a family dinner.
With all the food modifications, it's really hard to actually say, okay, let's enjoy our food because they're so engineered, they're modified. There is actual jobs or career paths that they have food engineers that come in and make sure that the recipe and all the things, the amount of sugar, stimulate the brain.
Right.
And so how do we know that we're actually enjoying what is good for us? Are we actually tasting real food or are we tasting stuff that has been produced in the labs to give us that I feel good.
So I think that is, yes, that is the scientific marketing side of it. That would be the big kind of corporation approach to it. And I feel like for me, what I'm creating is a flavor profile, right? So the ratio of marinara to basil to mozzarella to the meatballs to that, like I cook with little to no sugar. I mean, obviously some of the muffins and the cookies have sugar in them, but as far as processed, like that's not me. I'm not a big conglomeration, and I don't ever plan on going that route. That's
simple is, I always say simple is best.
That would be the absolute opposite of what I am.
Yeah.
Actually.
My husband sometimes cries over if I make a meal and then he's like, this was so good. And I'm so sad because I'll never taste it again because again, I have
It's going to be different.
It's going to be different
time.
because I don't have this spice. I don't have that spice. I just look in the kitchen and I'm like, okay, what is in here? And I have this way of looking in the fridge while my family sees nothing. I can whip out by tasting it in my mouth, the ingredients. You know, I'll look at mayo. I started making my own mayo, going back to this, getting rid of all these.
Homemade mayo is the best.
It is. Yes. Yeah. And it's so easy and quick. It doesn't last very long.
Yep.
But smaller batches, it's amazing.
It's delicious.
It's delicious. Oh my gosh, it is the best. So if anybody wants to try, I'll send you a YouTube video. No,
no, it's good. It's 3 minutes. It literally takes 3 minutes. Yeah. It's not a big deal at all. Yeah. No, I think that I think that a lot of people really do want the wholesome meals on their table. They just either don't know how to do it or they don't have the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Actually, I just got there. To be honest, I was one of those women that would judge other moms being like, I can't, I have to get this prepped or buy this prep meal. I'm like, it's not that hard to do the meal.
It can be if your mental load
is
that heavy.
Right? So that's why it was my awakening, I would say, that just recently is like, wow, this is actually something that I need in my life now.
For some people who love to cook, who enjoy food, I know a lot of people who just don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do it. They don't like doing it.
I have one living with me.
Yeah. It's not fun for them. Yeah. And so this is something on their mental load. I literally texted my mom group yesterday saying my least favorite thing in the entire world to do is to put a duvet back in its cover. I hate it. I hate it. I'm sweating by the end of it. I struggle tying the little corners in. It's like king size and it's just too much and I hate it. I hate doing it. I said to my girlfriends, I'll clean all your toilets if you will do this for me.
For me, it's laundry.
My girlfriend responded saying mine is emptying the dishwasher. She said, I will hand wash dishes for weeks so I don't have to empty the dishwasher.
I have friends like that we had 15 people staying here a week ago visiting. And I'm like, our friends are here because I had dishcloths and everything was laid out on the countertops. I'm like, I think we have a dishwasher. Right? Like, why are these dishes not in there? But that's how they do it, right?
And everybody operates differently, right? Yeah. Everybody has a different thing that they just hate doing. And for some people, it's cooking. And I'm glad I can fill that gap.
Yeah, it is. And there is a space for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, again, lots of lessons throughout our lives. We start out thinking one way and then it hits you in the head with a hammer going, you were never for these types of meals. And then I was like, okay, I am ready now. Thanks, universe, for reminding me to put my judgments into my pocket.
Right.
And give this a try because...
Never say never.
Never say never, right? I'll still do my own cooking because I enjoy it.
Sometimes you need a little help.
My mother does lots of that. Yes, she needs I do too, but it was, the start of something that I didn't think I needed, but it turned out I did.
Yeah.
So that was
different
surprising.
stages of life, right?
So let's invite one of your daughters to tell us a little bit.
Well, he's a boy, so We've got Sadie and Jacob. Jacob's a bit more of an introvert like I am. So Sadie is probably the one who would, yeah, she's got it. Come here, Sadie Rose.
Okay, well, Sadie, you have been working with your mom for how long now?
Probably 2.5 years, I think. Pretty early on in the business.
And what was your role?
Well, from how I started off, it was mainly just baking and working on dips and stuff and making the boxes. But now I've advanced more to helping other people learn the way through the kitchen and all stuff like that.
So what is your favorite meal to eat or make?
I love eating the potato jalapeno soup. That is my personal favorite. But I love making the taco salad. It is so fun to make and just delicious.
How is it working with your mom and your siblings?
Because
So let's be honest. Let's not sugarcoat it. Don't look at your mom and she'll give you the eyeballs to be like, don't say anything. Because I have twin girls and I'm an only child. My husband's an only child. We do not understand the sibling rivalry, the fights, because I always was told that I've missed out on a beautiful childhood because I had no siblings. But then I look at my kids sometimes, I'm like, well, I did not miss out on that. So working with your siblings, there's 2 girls and 1, no?
Only me and Jake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just the 2 of them. Yeah. So, okay, then that's a completely different dynamic too. Big brother, little sister, yeah?
Yeah.
So how is that working?
It's actually not as bad as people would think. Me and Jacob have always had a very good relationship. Obviously, we have our disagreements.
Yeah.
That is, no, but it's never been bad. We've never had bad ones, and we can both relate to how it is working in the kitchen together. And I think also having the same childhood growing up.
Yeah.
Even though how different we are, we still can be the same and understand the same stuff, you know?
Yeah. So how's it having your mom as your boss? Because those 2 are hard because I work with my husband. So the relationship is a little different. How do you separate being a daughter to being an employee?
I'm going to be so honest. I do struggle with that. I struggle with separating those 2, especially with how many hormones are in our house right now. It's kind of just crazy all the time. But I think over the years, we've really understood how to balance out working together and just communicating with each other. Say, if I've told her, I've been like, if you need me to stop talking, just let me know to fully be working and just on the topic.
Yeah. Because it is. I'm in perimenopause and my kids are just raging with full-on hormones. So it is a challenge just sometimes even being in the same space as them. And then we have my mom. So, having such close proximity and, now it's summertime. So you guys probably spend more time together because school will come soon, right? So how are you going to manage school and work and all the other activities?
This year, because I'm going into I guess it's my 2nd year of high school, but my first actual harder year in school. So I am still trying to figure out how to balance that out, but I do need the money.
Yeah.
So balancing that out has been a common conversation with us. And I think it's just figuring out our lifestyle and really putting it together.
Do we want to invite Jacob to say a couple words and give us the male perspective in a female-led corporation?
You got this.
Thank you, Sadie. So Sadie's 15 and you are?
About to be 18.
About to be 18. And you're working with mom and sister and how many other women in the kitchen?
I think only 1 more at the moment.
more?
But yeah, definitely. Yeah, so 2 more. But it's definitely a woman-dominated setting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy it. It's nice working with people I know, and
So it's awesome that, you're learning the skill of cooking. Your significant other will be so pleased to have you that they will not have to cook as much because there is a pressure on the woman to be constantly in the kitchen. So teaching, our young men to be also well-versed in the kitchen is so important. Do you cook for your friends?
yeah, I cook for my friends. I cook for my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good in the kitchen, I think.
Yeah.
I think I can handle myself, but it's definitely a good skill to have.
So what's your favorite thing to do in the kitchen?
I grill a lot of steaks. I
Mhm.
love barbecuing and
Very manly.
yeah. Yeah,
My husband loves barbecue. I love summers because he is the grill master and I don't have to do anything but, the side. So I do enjoy our summer as out of the kitchen because winters are usually more my jam. So yeah, that's awesome
No,
then.
definitely barbecuing, anything meats and
Mhm.
no.
So what life skills do you think besides the cooking are you learning and watching, your mom work the business and run a business?
Yeah, definitely just all like the behind the scenes action because there's a lot that you don't see into the business and what actually goes into running a business.
What's the most surprising thing that you weren't expecting?
Honestly, just how much time it is, like how much, even just like my mom needs to designate a certain day just for all of her website activity and whatnot. But yeah, just constantly delivering and like catering to different types of people. And I think it's definitely a lot more that I didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but actually being in the business, getting to see it, and eventually I want to run my own business. So getting a taste of it so young is great for me.
So would you say that working for your parents who are entrepreneurs is a good skill to have? Like a good lesson?
I think it's a great skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting to see what it's actually like.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your side of the story. And I do hope a lot more young, abled people, I'm not going to say just women and men, learn the skill that you're learning right now. Not just cooking, but about entrepreneurship, how much time and effort, all the stuff that's behind the scenes that you don't see on social media. Right. And not having those clickbaits. Oh, yeah, do this one thing and you'll be a millionaire. It doesn't work that way. It takes time and effort and grit and consistency.
Right.
Right.
And there's so much of that nowadays. So.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, of
And
course.
we'll
Thanks for having
invite
me.
your mom back. Okay. So I'm going to do a couple of rapid fire questions. When you strip away the titles of chef, mother, wife, and business owner, who is Lani?
Friend.
That's a good answer. What are you still trying to prove and to whom?
That I can do this and to myself.
That's, usually the life of the entrepreneur. I said, so it shall be.
Yes, exactly. Build it and they will come.
Build it and they will come.
Yeah.
When someone eats a meal from Lani's kitchen, what do you hope they feel beyond simply being full?
Just that joy of, I didn't have to make this. Everything tastes better when someone else makes it for you.
It's true.
Right?
Same with cleaning.
That's why all-inclusives are a thing.
Yes. I haven't had one, oh my gosh, for so long. And that's the next vacation.
Yeah.
We're going. My husband's like, we are booking an all-inclusive because as women, even if we go somewhere,
it's work.
Europe, it's
work.
Constant.
Yeah.
Even going to the beach, the kids are like, yeah, and I'm like,
packing the coolers,
everything. Not just the food, but then you're carrying the paddle boards and
packing the snackle box.
Yes, everything like that. So yes, having that one, I really appreciate that one piece of not having
just
to
take it off the table.
The food. Yeah,
right?
I was so grateful. I posted a few stories going, oh my gosh, look at this, you guys. Because I was one of those women that, had a thing about not making their own food. But that's the granola mom in me.
Yeah.
And then it came a time where it's like, my mental load is too much.
It's too much.
I need a break because this is no longer a vacation. This is no longer fun.
It's got to be something you can check off the list.
That's right. What do you want Lani's Kitchen to become without losing the heart of why you started it?
I think there's a way to grow this company. I'm from Southern California, and a lot of people that aren't, from the West Coast might not be familiar or haven't been to California. In-N-Out. In-N-Out Burger is a company that has been very selective. They have a very small menu. They do burgers and cheeseburgers and fries. That's it. And all of their produce is super fresh. Their patties are super fresh. Everything is top grade. And so they limit where they expand to. And so the nearest one, unfortunately, is still 6 hours away. And that's what I want to be. I want to be a destination for people. I want Lani's Kitchen to be something that provides nutrition for families. And I want to grow it in a sustainable way that we keep our quality top level, we keep our produce top level, everything top level at all times. But at some point, Yeah, I lived in Ontario for 20 years and I have a ton of people in Ontario telling me that they really want me out there.
Mm-hmm.
So if we opened a location out there, I wouldn't be sad.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing your vision and your work and your children and your menus with us.
Thank you.
Where can people find you?
So online, it is laniskitchen.ca. You can also email me directly at info@laniskitchen.ca. We're on Instagram as Lani's Kitchen Kelowna, and Lani is spelled Lani. Also on Facebook as Lani's Kitchen. We try to be a little bit of everywhere. So
Amazing. Thank you so much for your
thank you for having me.
Okay.
It was lovely.
Till next time.
Okay.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights to elevate your life and business.
If you found value in our conversation, spread the love. Share this episode with family and friends, and let's grow this supportive community together.
And don't forget to like and follow us so we can reach more amazing people just like you.
Until next time, remember, let's not sugarcoat it. Keep it real, raw, and unfiltered.